This is the first dog we're going to show you today, and her name is Colleen. Colleen is a 4-year-old multi-mix. She's absolutely terrified. Actually, we brought 2 dogs up. The first dogs we're going to show you are so frightened being in the shelter, so intimidated by these strange surroundings, that it's heartbreaking to look at them. She's only 4. She's very shy with strangers. Once she gets to know you, she's a great, playful, friendly dog. But a dog that has to be approached with caution and patience, with a very soft voice and a very kind hand until she gets to know you, and then she's your best buddy. Hard to place a dog like this because she doesn't show well in the cage. She runs away from people. She's frightened. She's intimidated. She doesn't understand how she wound up in this terrible jail that she's in. And it doesn't matter how much people try to make her comfortable and make her happy. She's just terrified. She needs to get out of here. She needs someone who's familiar with dogs and who will be kind and patient and let her find herself and let her love you, because once she does, she'll be the best friend you ever had. Her name is Colleen. Here's the other very frightened dog, and I might add that Colleen and Crockett, when they're together, they support each other and they're happy. Would be great if they could go to the same home. If they can't, we understand, but they would be easier to cope with together than they are apart because they're just so terrified. Crockett is a 7-year-old neutered male, good with most dogs, very cautious of strangers, very sweet once you get to know him, loving, sweet, kind, terrified and frightened, and terribly, terribly sad. It's the saddest thing about being in the shelter. We see these dogs who have the potential for being the best pets you could have. And they're so frightened and so shy that they don't show anyone just how wonderful they can be. Crockett in the right home is a wonderful dog. Crockett with Colleen is outstanding. Crockett by himself in a home where someone tries to overwhelm him will just be a terrified ball of fear shaking in a corner. Again, he needs someone who will be calm and quiet and loving and supportive, and he will be your best friend. His name is Crockett. This beautiful boy is Bozo. Bozo is a 4-year-old neutered male Amstaff mix. Incredibly sweet, but incredibly high energy dog. He likes to play with other dogs. He likes to play with people too. Good boy. He knows sit, and he'll sit up and beg, and he'll do a lot for a treat. He needs some training. He definitely does. But he's definitely very food motivated, which means easy to train. Look what a good boy that is. He is beautiful. He is sweet. He will try to hump your leg. Bad habit that the dog's got to be broken of. But that's only because he likes you. He's gorgeous and happy and outgoing. Will overpower some dogs, so if you've got a shy dog, he's not the best match. But outside of that, he is a kisser. He is a lover. The tail never stops wagging. He needs a home, and his name is Bozo. This is Mr. Buster. Mr. Buster is a 4.5-year-old neutered male American bulldog. Very high energy dog, loves playing tug with ropes, loves playing with the big plastic jolly balls, great with kids, has absolutely no leash manners. This dog is strong. I mean, American bulldogs are powerful dogs, and this guy is a strong fellow. Strong, pulling, needs to go to school, needs to learn some leash manners, but he doesn't need to learn how to love. He loves everyone. He smiles that big doggy smile all the time. He's happy all the time. He's absolutely gorgeous. He stands there and he looks at you and he tells you that he would like to go home with you. He would like to go home with anyone who would offer him a forever home where he can be loved. His name is Mr. Buster. Yeah, there you go. See that beautiful face. And he's looking for a forever home of his own. The dog you're looking at now is Aurora. This is a senior citizen. She's 11 years old. Very energetic for 11. She is a Chow Shar-Pei mix. She loves, I'm told, treats, snow, and swimming pools. She loves to walk on a leash. The tail wags and she's happy. She does not act like an old girl. I mean, this dog is aging gracefully, but she is aging, there is no question, because she's 11. But she's friendly, she's sweet. They do not recommend this dog with kids. She's never been around kids, and as sweet as she is, and you could hug her, and you could hold her, and you could love her, and you could do just about anything you want, she has no experience with kids, and she's very strong, and she's very old, and she just doesn't have the tolerance that a young dog would have for children. So an adult home, someone who would spend a lot of time walking with her because she loves to be out on a leash. And the rest of the time, if you're not walking her, if you please, you can pet her. Her name is Aurora. My goodness, these dogs are excited to be out. You're looking at Jameson and Jim Beam, both beagles. Jameson is 10, Jim Beam is 5. Jameson has a heart murmur and is on medication. Jim Beam may or may not have Cushing's. We don't know. He's going in for testing tomorrow. These dogs need to go home together. They will be eligible for a permanent foster home, which means that whatever medications they need, one for the heart murmur, and if indeed Jim Beam has Cushing's, the shelter will be the veterinarian for you, provide you with medication, provide you with testing. It's different than an adoption where once you've adopted the dog, you take total responsibility. But the big difference is the medical treatment comes from the shelter, unless it's a new problem. If a dog breaks a leg, it's on you to take the dog to the vet. But anything having to do with the condition these dogs have when they are taken as permanent fosters will be underwritten by the shelter for his dog as long as the dogs live. So yeah, there's going to be some expense involved, and beagles have a tendency to be noisy, as you can probably tell. And it's just that they're very excited to be out. But the shelter will work with you if you love beagles, and it has to be someone who loves beagles. It has to be someone who's willing to medicate. It has to be someone who's around often enough. So it's very, very hard to find the right adopter for these dogs. And the tragedy is that with no adopter for them, they will live out their lives in the shelter, and in the shelter they will die. So they need an adopter to love them. They need someone to put himself forth for them so that they have a chance at normal doggy loving lives for the rest of their lives. Jameson and Jim Beam. These are Otis and Dolly. This is another pair that needs to go together. Otis the male and Dolly the female. They are 4 years old. They are brother and sister. They are multi-mixes. We couldn't even guess. First guess was they look like they've got some collie or sheltie in them because of those faces. They could have they could have anything in them, and it doesn't really matter because here's the scoop on these two dogs. They're good with other dogs. They love to play tag and chase each other. They're really quick at learning commands. They really do want to please people. They've gone on off-site, so they've gone when dogs are being shown, and they've gone on off-site visits, and they're always good, and they're always sweet, and they're always friendly, and they're always kind. They are absolutely good with everything and everybody. They are alert, happy, bright, beautiful, medium-sized, short-haired dogs. All the biggest plus of all is they both have wonderful, loving hearts. They love each other, but they love people too. Their names are Otis and Dolly. They need to go home together, and they want to get out of here. This is the last dog we're going to show you today, and this is indeed our second special needs dog. And looking at her, you know why. Tali is a female spayed Amstaff. She is 11 years old. She had bone cancer in her leg, and the leg had to be amputated. She is now completely cancer-free. She gets along fairly well on 3 legs. She works very hard at it. She loves people. She is handicapped. She is not perfect, but who among us is? She is an inspiration to anyone who's lost a limb because She's never said, why me? She's never said, I can't do it. All she wants to do is try. All she wants to do is be close to someone. All she wants is to be loved. She doesn't say, I only have 3 legs. She can't count. So she says, okay, I'm walking different now, but I'm walking. And she does. She is very sweet. She is very loving. She is great with people. They want her in an only pet home because she's not agile. They don't want her in a home with kids because kids would want to romp and play with her, and she would romp and play with them, perhaps to her own detriment. So an adult home with someone who can look into her eyes, ignore the age, ignore the breed, ignore the handicap, and focus on the love. This is a sweet, loving, kind, wonderful dog. And all she needs is someone who can ignore the negatives, look into her eyes, and realize that they could be the person to fill those eyes with joy and love. Her name is Tali.